Hello, fellow galactic family. Yay! Cousin, I thought you looked familiar. Welcome. Today's episode is focused on the hero's journey, and I'm going to be sharing a little bit of my current creative project and research that I am conducting. That is about the hero's journey, and I am also going to offer advice, that very simple advice that I got a long time ago from a very benevolent, non-embodied storyteller that has inspired me ever since. And with that, I want to say, right now, there's a lot of things in my life that I'm very excited about. Our launch pad here. In New Orleans, my mentor and me and my mentor and me. There's a mentor and there's me, and we're working on this together, and it's really awesome because I am currently working. I won't say working because it's not. I mean, it's so enjoyable that just doesn't seem like the right description. I am currently writing a play, and it is The Retired Astronaut. Will show up and we'll work on it together, and it just comes through. This is something that I am practicing now more regularly. I've achieved these states before in my writing. I've done a lot of writing, a lot of creative writing, essay writing, and analytical research, things like that. And it can happen at any time. But actually, right now, I have a mentor for this task. It's actually really enjoyable. His name is Tom Bird, and he's published all these books on Amazon, and he has a really good rep. And a childhood friend of mine is working with him right now, and she saw something I posted, and she said, "Hey, you might be interested in what we're doing." So currently, I'm in the readying process. The launch for the writing workshop is next week. It's gonna be very, very powerful, and I'll right now it's getting ready for that, and the readiness for this solar eclipse, which is happening tomorrow, which jazz hands, like, very excited about. And I took a I've been watching. So you have to understand, folks. Like, I want to say, I took a brave step out of the closet. I have been watching different channels on YouTube. It's been very fascinating because it just hasn't occurred to me to necessarily look in certain places for affirmation. I mean, I do from time to time, but I guess, like, right now I'm noticing just more and more is coming to me, and I'm much more focused on it. So I've been enjoying a lot of different videos, and mostly from people in Sedona. There's a lot of beautiful, really wonderful information coming out of Sedona, and fascinating beings who are doing incredible work, who are very inspiring. And one of whom is named our Arcturus Ra. I've been really enjoying watching his videos, and the timing of it is very perfect. I think I just stumbled upon one maybe he put out in June, and he was really encouraging people to, and he's done this before, but to really find each other and to really start groups or join groups. And so I am excited because tomorrow I will be. I found, and I was already, like, doing that. Like, I had just done that, and then I came across this video saying you should do that. And I'm like, good, I got it done. But actually, because I'm queer, and I went through a whole process of coming out. What fascinates me, and it's about 100 years before the queer identity kind of, this homosexual identity was created, lesbian, blah, blah, blah. And within media, because that's my forte, is in media literacy, we can watch this character emerge. And what's very powerful about the now, and with current technology, is these, supposedly hiding in plain sight, identities, are there and able to now we've seen great examples of how to first come out And it's actually the best possible advice, because if you look in queer history, if you look, in gay history, if you want to see the logic behind it, it's there. It is. It's like you come out, you look around, you see who's there, you share information, you support each other, and you should support each other in the work and or rather the experience of liberation and ascension. And so that said, I am working on a play, and with the retired astronaut, who also had just shortened to RA, to Ra, whatever. Sometimes in my episodes, that's how I'm doing them, because of the inspiration of consciousness, of the expansion of consciousness, and this vessel for consciousness, who is communicating with me in this way, and has been for the past year. Is really when there's so many stories I don't want to go into. So I just want to focus on the hero's journey, and I also wanted to share two because I'm so astronaut crazy, oh, astronauts. Of course, I'm attracting. I walk into a bookstore, this used bookstore the other day, and it's like you'd understand anyway, So, and then I come home, and online it's like, hey, in my Facebook feed, it's like, reinvent yourself, And it's you have to understand, this wasn't a electronic transaction. I don't know. Was it? Is it super conscious AI? Am I creating my own universe? I think yes. And for that reason, and the art and the love of storytelling, which, as I've been trained by my elders, incredible gifts of wisdom and insight, for whom I am deeply thankful for all of these experiences, all the information that people who have so often had taken me in, trusted me with their stories, and that's huge for people to share themselves and their histories, and to be able to have a front row seat. And it was exactly the experience I wanted to have. And it was 10 years ago. I'm living on the island of Maui. We're doing our annual Vision Quest, and for some reason that year, the medicine woman, the intercessor, she's just like, hey, it's not going to happen like on the solstice. I don't want to do it by the Gregorian calendar. She pulled out a star chart and ephemeres, and she's like, no, and she's just feeling her way through it. And she just basically at some point just told us, like, I'll be ready. This ceremony, it's like a 4-day thing, 4 or 5 day thing. Like, it could happen at any time. And I had been blessed to be asked to work the fire and to stay with the fire and camp, and everything was going to be different. Like, I was also supposed to be in an altar, so it was that was the altar. That was my altar. Me and the fire and the lodge, just the lodge there, and it's my holding that space. A group of people went into the volcano. And everybody had their own experience, and it was super cool. And at the time, I had Spirit show up to me in this really amazing, awesome way, very clear, which happens for me in high ceremony and in very soothed meditative states. It's just like talking to someone. It's very clear and auditory. And oftentimes it's just me, asking questions and getting really great advice, and it's lovely. And it's been this way since I was a little kid, and I've turned it off and turned it on, and lived with it and developed it, and it's taken me to, I've been other places and have memories of living in other places, dimensions, and other places, and in the way in which I'm trying, the framing of such consciousness as it comes in, and the memory is becoming more and more alive within me, these memories, and then okay, so how this is integrating, so this thought of of this never-ending aspect of self that is just connected to spirit, that has been spiraling, moving throughout the universe, is landing here in this body in order to experience what's going on here. The big message for me, and which the part of which that I find in the retired astronaut to be of such just humor, the humor that he has in regards to why do you know, to like his, when he talks to me, he's just like, why don't you just relax, you know, like, I'm a retired astronaut, it's like, I've been all across, let me just tell you, I didn't come down here to work, I came down here to enjoy, you know, to enjoy my retirement, you know, and you, sir, are taking down my memoirs, you know, right now, or something, you know, or I'm representing, or something like that. So it's a wonderful engagement of consciousness. It's very playful, and it's very delightful, and it's transformative, and I'm excited to welcome all this coming through, and it'll be interesting to see what comes through in the writing workshop. That said, I am using The Hero's Journey, and for those that you are not familiar with it, Joseph Campbell. And I do use mythology and the development of story in this way. This also you know, is a technique used within Native cultures as well. I mean, there are Native scholars. I've worked with some really brilliant people who are like, oh, this is really, you know, we'll use this. It's a great framework. Like, say, for instance, you know, I know a wonderful game designer, and she did a whole, I think it's called Survivance, she, you know, use a hero's journey model to like create the landscape of the journey, and it's beautiful. And you can do that with your own experience here, and it's invigorating, I find. So I've been able to do that for most of my life. Like, I've actually kind of brought everything really current. There are steps where like maybe I felt kind of struggling to kind of make sense of a certain time period in my life. And in the last several years, I've been able to really transmute the experience. So better than just sort of understanding it or whatever, it's just now an experience within a much larger context, and my and the meaning is starting to just flow forth, rather than, you know, my insisting on it happening. You know, it's just coming through in its own time. And so the way in which I'm working right now with Ra, the retired astronaut, is you know, like right now, for instance, the characters are at a certain point in the hero's journey, and right now I know, for instance, that it's the road of trials. That is the next thing that we, you know, that we're gonna work on, and so from time to time, I'll just you know, start meditating on it, on what that might be, and get images, and then I'll start talking. Like, I might be, you know, on the balcony sipping lemonade, and suddenly I realize, like, oh, he's talking to me right now. It really does, you know, you have to be ready. And so just in the same way, and that's something that I really learned from the ceremony, was just being ready for ceremony all the time. You know, recently a friend of mine was just like, you know, hey, can you be a supporter at the Sundance for me? And I'm like, yes, I know what that involves, and I know what that entails, you know, and I'm packed and I'm ready to go, you know, before, you know, you just are ready. And when you're operating in that mode, it's not like, I understand the difference between disaster preparedness, okay, because you know, in my workaday life, you know, within education, and, you know, and working in operations and facilities, like, I understand those concepts. Which are fascinating, because I can now, well, you know, like, after having a conversation with one of these people, I walk around, I'm like, oh my god, if there's an earthquake, all this stuff would fall off the wall. You know, these aren't things that I'm thinking about. These aren't realities that I'm you know, perpetuating through thought. You know, just in my, you know, experiencing of them. You know, so that's not the context of this either. In fact, you know, I think for me, it's just really you know, down to it, plugging in with the heart source of communication and the union and collaboration and working together and creating, envisioning, building, manifesting this future that we're already creating anyway. We're already creating it. So it's like, oh, let's just like make some serious course corrections going in directions that, you know, that are favorable, that are loving, and then, you know, but an entrainment for that, and something that I've been super solid for a while now. You know, from years of practice, and now it's just like solid, and being able to just like be in that, like stay with those feelings and follow that, follow that energy, that really positive energy. That's calling to me, that's soothing, that's pleasurable, that's invigorating, that's challenging. It's exciting, and the tools that have emerged, like let's say binaural beats, great example. Like it's a wonderful tool. Like, hey, I need a little, I need to help get in a good space. These are wonderful tools within a modern, you're living in any kind of modern city, like, I've been living in some modern cities. These are great tools just for environmental tools, for your spacesuit. So, the bit of advice that I would like to share within this ceremony that I was speaking of, this Vision Quest from 10 years ago, the experience for me was that, first of all, it was very visual and auditory. It was definitely interdimensional and absolutely lovely, and I just felt such joy, and I was very, very relaxed, and I was just listening to the story as sort of that world was unfolding around me. Just this lovely, things were just lit in a different way. The smoke was billowing out of the fire in such a way, and then a plume shot up and just came toward me, and as the plume came toward my face, this sort of like tentacle came forward. It mirrored my face, and it cast a big smile, and then it just vanished. And I'm realizing that I'm hearing this story, and I start tuning into this story. This someone's this voice. It's a singular collective voice. Oftentimes, it's lovely. It shifts. So I mean, if I just sort of focus in, if I just sort of want to give it a character, it'll take a character. If I ask it to take a character, it will. However, it's just kind of nice just to see how it comes in, because it just comes in. So it comes in sort of like this plural, singular form for me, and oftentimes I'll refer to use the pronoun they. So they're talking to me and telling a story, a wonderful story, a hero's journey story, and it's beautiful. And I'm loving the story, and I'm thinking about this character that they're talking about, and these accomplishments, that had occur in the story, and feeds the strength, and magic, and realize, oh, you're talking about me. That's my story. Wait, and so we had a great conversation. It was a lunar eclipse, and so the moon had the penumbrum had occurred, and it was all dark. And I was told, hey, you're going to have until the moon is fully illuminated again this time, just to ask questions. It's a really clear channel. Let's just talk. What do you want to do? What's up? And I was for years, I would pray. Where do you want me to go? How do you want me to serve? What can I do? I'm here to serve. Where do you go? Who needs me? And in this instance, Spirit was like, what do you want to do? What do you want to choose? What do you want to do? And I'm like, what? Why can't you just tell me what to do? It's easier. It's like, no, this is the lesson right now. Choose. Ask for what you want. Trust that it'll show up. That's it. Choose, ask, trust. If you're not trusting, choose, ask, trust. Choose more trust. Choose more love. Choose more empathy. If you feel the trust, waning, trust. And when it shows up, enjoy it. And enjoy the joy of people having enjoyment around you. Let joy just flow through. In, out, like the breath. Choose, ask, trust. So for the last 10 years, and I think this is a law of attraction, just explained in just a different way, and now I follow the works of like Abraham Hicks. Wonderful, awesome. I get a real kick out of it. But that's it for today. That's all I wanted to say about the hero's journey. A little update of my hero's journey. I hope everyone's enjoying their journey, your voyage with us here. Wow. In this paradise that we are all creating as one. Namaste.